Hey, now we're live. Yes, exactly. How's it going, Richard?
Hey, it's going pretty good, Michael. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's always a fun day when it's release day, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep. And
it's
you can already see the excitement building in the forums, and it just dropped an hour and a half ago. Uh, and people are excited. You can see them get excited even last night with the last message I saw in the forums last night was it's about 3 weeks, guys.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're all
it's
sitting
like
there
they're
waiting
looking
for
at
it.
the watch,
Yep. Yep. Hit that F5 key. Let's refresh the website some more.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
yep. But it did drop today. A lot of great improvements. And I know you've got your favorite, and I think everybody can probably figure out what my favorites are. Lots of good stuff with the drawings this release, and so
Exactly.
I'm happy to see that.
Exactly. Definitely use the comments section here in YouTube. There's people showing up here already here. We've got Hey Reed, how's it going? Got Vortex 108.
All right, yeah, and let us know. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about the new release and some of the new functionality. We're going to be going through it bit by bit here, and but we'd love to have your comments, and we'll put them up on the screen for you.
Absolutely. Love the comment, Matthew.
Yeah,
So
of course.
yeah, let's just get right into it, Richard.
Yeah,
What do you
let's do
think?
it.
All right,
Let's
I'm
do it.
gonna add my screen here, and I might show a couple of other things as well. Let me make sure I have my screens all loaded up the way I'm hoping to work with them. All right, good. So you can see that, Richard, right?
You bet. Yep.
All right, great. So just this morning, we released the latest update, 1.145, and there's been a number of good improvements. The first thing that I want to bring up is some of the user interface kind of things first. It's kind of a typical way of kind of getting started. And breadcrumbs are one of the highly requested features that we decided to include in this release. And the reason is simple, right? I'm not going to like go through and do a live demo of this. I'll just play a little bit of Neil's, actually it's Sufyan's video that he had built for us here. So let me go zoom in here. There we are. So essentially, one of the things that are, we had to develop our own operating system essentially to make Onshape, right? We're not using a Windows folder structure or anything like that. So we had to build our own stuff. And, sometimes if you get really crazy with folder structure, which, you don't really need to have a crazy folder structure in Onshape.
Right. But yeah, creatures of habit.
Yeah.
People still tend to do things that way.
So you can get yourself into a little bit of trouble if you had a deep folder structure, but now no trouble at all. Yeah, as you can see, Sufyan going through here, he's dragging and dropping, things live in the breadcrumb trail at the top of the screen. I'll play that really quick again, but you can see if you have a very, very deep nested structure, you're going to be able to kind of find where you are.
Yep. And move things around. I think that's even a better part of this upgrade here. Is being able to just drag those things around, move them around where you need them to be, and everything's right in front of you there.
Exactly. So that one's nice. There are two fillet improvements, not just one, but two fillet improvements in this release in our Part Studio land. So the first one is going to be deciding which edges you want to keep in the event that your fillet falls off the edge. Like if you let's see, if I zoom in over here and kind of point where the mouse cursor is pointing, you can see kind of that little ledge kind of popping up, on front of Neil's part here.
Yep.
And, I can actually, let's actually try to do this live. That way we can explain it just a little bit more. So here's my Onshape window. And, I'm just going to create a very rapid flange here. So.
While you're doing that, Michael, there's a question in the comments. Is there a limit on the number of subfolders?
Not that I know of. I mean, you saw 19 there or something. I would say it's limited by your sanity, but yeah, for sure. I would it's something we can check on, but
well, I guess
don't do more than 20. I mean,
yeah, I
that's
guess
crazy.
if it's limited by sanity, I guess 2 subfolders is enough for me.
Yeah. Excuse me. It's like the first time I'm drawing in a CAD system here. Just give me a second. There we are. Get it nice and trimmed up. All right. And one little trick, in case you haven't seen this before, is the first dimension you put on, it scales the whole sketch down appropriately. Yep. All right, so that should be good enough for now. I just want to create kind of an offset flange like that. I guess I'll mirror it this way since I didn't mirror it in the sketch. We'll just merge it all together. There we are. All right, good. And one final thing I'll do here is put a flange on top of this, because what I want to show, I'll say that's 2, is what happens when you start placing your fillet, right? So if I go ahead and place a fillet here on this edge, you'll notice the fillet interface is slightly new, right? We have a couple of extra options here. Allow edge overflows here. So let's say I decide to pick that edge and give it a 1/2 inch. That's going to work nice. But if I go higher, right, you're going to see that right
overflow.
Here, that little pop up, right? And that might not be what you want. So I want to keep this edge, and this edge kind of flat. And you see what it did?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, so that's nice.
Yeah. Another option that we added was filleting the smooth corner. So let's imagine if we had like a, it's easily shown like this. If we had a rectangle, and let's just call it a 1-inch rectangle, we'll make that equal and extrude that up. So if we put fillet radius here and here, right? And let's just make that a little bit smaller. You notice how you'd have to take like a mill and come in one direction, and you have another kind of set up in a mill in the other direction to kind of get this shape, and you get this like sharp corner where, it might be better if you just took a tool and went around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a nice new option, right? I mean, obviously you could draw this before, but it would take a loft and it would be several steps, right? But here it's just, one kind of nice operation, right? So, and you can even tell it which corners you want to exclude. So if you had like a very complex set of fillet radii, you could.
Wow, yeah, I hadn't seen that one earlier. That's nice too.
Yep. But yeah, the fillet tools received a lot of attention over the past few updates, over the last few months, I would say, being able to do, with continuous fillets on complex kind of intersection, being able to do some of these things in combination with conics and curvatures. Of course, the full round fillet is here. The variable radius fillet received improvements where you could just, pick, you could define locations, along a particular edge, right, from a vertex. So there were all sorts of things, and the fillet tool just keeps getting better and better, right?
Yep.
All right. What's next?
And Sebastian likes the fillet update too.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Sebastian. The next update. Let's see, what is next in the list?
There we go.
We have a bunch of drawings things. So Richard, you're going to be really happy.
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I went through all of these today. I've already tried out a couple of them, and just really happy about that. I think I've mentioned before, I'm a big standards guy, and normally I wouldn't really appreciate the ability to override things, but people need that sometimes, and if we can provide that, then more power to us and more power to them.
Exactly.
Again, overrides are something that I try to avoid, but sometimes they're unavoidable. Sometimes you need a little something special in your call outs.
So I have a flange here, right? Let's make a drawing of it. Stick it on a piece of paper. And let's see.
I love the 4-view option.
Yeah, it's very nice. I think I need to get view underneath here the way I did this. All right, because I just dropped in a counterboard hole there if you saw me do that, right? So if I put in that hole, obviously Onshape's going to put in the standard default hole callout.
Yep.
Now, this is my first time doing this. This is like, you know, one of these reaction videos, right? So let's go in.
Look at in this particular case, we need to have that counterboard a little bit deeper than that 3/8 of an inch.
Right. And so what you want to do here is, you know, you have the ability to select any one of these numbers. See how I'm clicking in here?
Yep.
So let's say I want the depth of 5/8 of an inch here to have a tolerance, right? Of, well, let me go back there. Plus or minus, 10, we'll say plus 10. Minus 550. So being able to do that, you got that right there. You know, this is one of the highest requested items for the whole tool, is being able to go in and specify the actual tolerance here. And this is going to be, you know, you can obviously, you know, type in, let's see if I can actually. No, can't. Okay. So you know, but this is obviously a stepping stool into the direction of doing other things, you know, with tolerances and Onshape. But here, this is you know, huge, because, you know, machinists need to know
they do
exactly what the tolerance is, right?
Yep.
So let's put it back at, but yeah, any number, right? So yes, pop open this, pop open that, and you have your choices right here. You know, symmetric, we'll just do 10.
Yep. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Another really nice thing, I think, and I'm going to start doing it, is breaking the dimension lines automatically.
You know, when I saw that, my first thought goes back to the drawing board days and using my eraser shield to erase around arrowheads and create that little gap. And so I was so happy to see this one.
See that? Just went right in automatically.
Yep, automatically.
So, I mean, it's just really nice. It'll work, obviously, if you have like a, let's do this. Let's do a dimension from here to here. Guess use a smart dimension here. Just gonna try to get it to cross something, right? There we are. I mean, that's poor practice what I did there, but you can see it's working as you would expect. Now, let's say you didn't want a break for whatever reason. You can right click on it and unbreak that dimension.
Yep.
And if you want to bring that back, you can break it. One thing to warn you, any of your old drawings, it's not going to automatically break existing dimensions. Just new dimensions will break. But on the existing dimensions, if you did want to break them, you can toggle that right mouse setting.
Yep, I already tested that one out. Called up an old drawing where I had a crossing line, and sure enough, right click, and it breaks it.
Yeah, this is just one of those things that, you know, are stickler kind of things that in that bucket of things. Like, you know, you need to have a nice looking drawing. This is one of the things that people will rate you on.
And I find that these things are usually most important to the people that actually started as draftsmen or started on the drawing board, you know, just those little things that you learn over the course of your career. And you're just really excited to see them when they pop up in your CAD system.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got another question on the break dimension lines.
Can you deactivate the auto breaking? I don't think so. So that is a good question. I don't think there's any options for that, but if you do feel like there should be an option for that, definitely, Sebastian, please submit a support ticket, you know, right in here. Let us know.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good idea and something that I would support as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's not a bad idea. All right. What's next? We got independent arrow styles as well. So, you know, here we have this dimension. Let's see if I can find something that, I guess this one might be an interesting one to use this on, right? You know, you see I can, you know, drag and drop that right there. It snaps in, but there's two arrowheads actually, one on top of the other there, if you really think about it. What you can do is be in your style settings and choose which thing you want to edit. So you see as if I go to the new style panel, which we added recently, right?
Yep.
You can see as I hover over each of those dimensions, we're getting a highlight as to which one we're looking at. So perhaps this one should not have an arrow, right?
Yep.
I'm just thinking of like my old pen plotter days in 1990 where you'd have like double ink on top of that. But
yeah, and depending on the pen size you were using, if that thing went over it too many times, you might end up with a hole in your paper.
Exactly. Oh, the days. Oh, those are the days. But anyway.
They were fun to watch, though. They were fun to watch.
But there's obviously opportunity for other kind of interesting situations that may occur, right? Where you need to have one arrow show up and one not showing up, or one with a different style, right? You have all the other, choices here for turning on and off extension lines as well, which I didn't even realize we had. So I'm going to just.
I love the architectural style there.
Yeah, exactly. Good for the tiny house project.
Yep.
But like right here, we don't even need the extension line either, right? So you can see it's doing the cross highlighting here as well. So I can just turn off that extension line if I was really a stickler for that. So pretty cool.
Yep. Beautiful drawing.
Yep. That's what it's all about. Another thing about drawings is setting a proper row and height in tables. So let's see if I can make a quick table drawing here. I have an assembly here with a bill of materials, right, with all my great information, and I want a bill of materials for that. In fact, let me just stick a new bomb because this probably hasn't updated yet. So let's insert standard bill of material. Oh, that's a whole table. Sorry. There we are. I like my thing in the corner, top level, bottom to top. And of course, you can see that it's a little bit big.
Yep.
Now, of course, we have the ability, to drag and drop this thing, and it does its best to get it. Now, I kind of like what it did, right?
Yeah. No, that's great, and it's a good start.
Exactly. But maybe I know exactly the width and height I want for the maturity box, right? So I'm going to say I want it to be 25, and I'll just leave the height at 9 for now. So, you're able to specify exact, numbers, essentially. And as you're dragging it, you'll actually see a number, supposedly.
Yep, I saw that.
Okay. Might be because I'm doing a screen share. I just saw it kind of quick come up on the screen.
Yeah, you saw it real quick there.
Yeah. But, precision, that's what it's all about. People want to have their drawings just so.
Yep. And if you're like me, you'll do this. You'll create this perfect bill of materials on 3 or 4 different drawings before you stop and say, I should create a template out of this.
Exactly. That's another thing to think about. We obviously have the templates here, right? For the content of the bill of materials, but then what shows on the drawing can have slightly varying widths and things like that, but it will respect exactly what you defined in the model.
Yep. Perfect.
All right. Another thing relating to tables is, last update we did the cut list with the welded frames and things like that. And when you create a welded frame in Onshape, let's see if I have one. Maybe not in this particular account. I'll just go over here.
There we go.
Yeah. So over here, if you take a look, there are some new cut list table properties. Just so, like, when you insert a new cut list table, just like you insert a bill of materials, a whole table, you want it to be formatted, the same way every single time, like a template, if you will, right?
Yep.
So that will be part of this. Of course, all these drawing templates are part of, or these drawing properties are part of your drawing template when you create them in Onshape. So if you set this exactly the way you want and you want to use it over and over again, it's part of your template file for your drawing, for your drafting, for your sheet, right? So instead of having like a separate drawing document template. It's really relating to the drafting template using the DWT file that gets generated. But essentially here, this is really the thing that we've added was the ability to set that, in a template-based way. So we're happy to have that. Let's see. Let's go to my other account here. Got an enterprise account. So let's sign into that. Just give me a second. There we are. I'll log on as Mike the manager. All right. So here in my enterprise account, we have had for quite some time the enterprise dashboards, right, which you can find under analytics. And this gives you insight into your business, like, what's going on in your company, types, how long has this project been active for, what's waiting for release. And you'll notice that that we did a refresh on the interface of this. It's much easier to read, especially for somebody like me. I've noticed that the colors are much more, the contrast is better between the colors. And somebody like me, I'm colorblind. So I actually had a little bit of a hard time kind of seeing the nice kind of muted tones of the previous version of the reports. But this is clear as day to me.
Yep.
So I can easily see the differences between the colors, and you can see that they've taken kind of a different approach on the UI for, how it's kind of, we got kind of like these boxes that are floating above, and they have a shadow and everything. So it's a nicer way of looking at it. I think I'll just dive into a dashboard. Yep. This is the first time I'm seeing any of these with my demonstration account that I've set up here.
Yeah. I don't have an enterprise account, so this is a first for me.
Oh, well, I can add you to mine, nice. Richard. It's pretty easy. But I've been working on this machine design project for 500 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, this is where we've been working over the past 30 days. These are who's been working. My colleague Leonis and Jess has been in there. So it's cool to kind of see it. It just pops off the screen better. So for me, even though this seemed like a minor update, for me, it was a huge update because now I can actually read this thing. I didn't know if that was an intended effect of why we did it, but I'm going to appreciate it right now. FeatureScript. Any FeatureScript folks in the house? Let's talk about some really cool things here. I wonder if the sensor value is a public one here. Let me see if I can add that to my account. Just open up a document here. Go over here to a part studio. That's what I'm looking for. All right, this is my security window example. And let's search for sensors in public. Sorted on. I'm not sure that's what I'm looking for, but let's do one other thing. If not, I can show you what it does. All right. I know there's a sensor in here somewhere. Maybe I don't have it on the public page. All right. At any rate. Table parameter groups and conditional visibility. So essentially in a custom table now, as you can see in this GIF animation here, you can open up an optional filter category that you can set up in your code in custom features. So that way you can, use those parameter groups in the interface of your custom table to allow end users who are accessing this custom table to sort it in the way they wish, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing that they did in this that's even more exciting, I think, is that you can control the visibility of certain parameters with another parameter. So this gives you that conditional logic when creating your custom feature. So I don't have an example to show you right now, but if anybody does, definitely post it to the forums. If I find one, I'll share it as well. But this is definitely a big deal if you're into creating custom features. This, the visibility of the parameters can be controlled based on another parameter, which is really powerful. All right. Other stuff. Mobile has received a big update, and I have one of those new... I'll just stop sharing my screen so you can see this. I have one of these new Apple smart keyboards, Magic Keyboards they call it. So it allows you to charge your iPad. It gives you another port. It gives you a keyboard with a trackpad on it. Okay. And what the trackpad will do is it'll act just like a mouse, right? So it allows you, and actually, I could probably show a little bit of this. I had my iPad up near my camera, but I'm going to swap that up. And I know my Onshape app is not up to date yet. It usually takes a little bit after the push happens for the mobile apps to be registered through the App Store and things like that with Apple and Google. So my account isn't completely updated, but I'll show you what happens. All right, so there's my coffee grinder that I like to use every so often. And of course, we had the ability to rotate on the screen, but you see right here, I have this key. I get like a cursor on my screen now.
Yep.
And I'm doing, this is really janky here, what I'm doing, but you see, I can actually select, precision select. I can rotate with this, right? And what's coming once my app updates is keyboard shortcuts on my iPad, right? So I can hit, my arrow keys to rotate. Let's actually look at the list here. I have it on another screen. Hiding and showing planes, P, right?
Yep.
If you don't want to see the planes, you just want to hit the letter P. You don't want to have to navigate to all these menus.
For me, the biggest thing here for me is entering text. I did an article for a magazine, 20 years, I guess it's been, when tablet PCs first came out, about using that on the tablet. And for the most part, other than being a little bit underpowered at the it was able to work. The biggest issue was entering text, and I recommended in the article that you don't try to do drawings on a tablet PC because you'll be hunting and pecking with that little pen for hours.
Right.
This solves that problem.
Yeah, definitely. It's having the keyboard here. The keyboard is actually quite nice. It's backlit. It's magnetic. So
I went and pressed one out as soon as I saw that. So. Yeah, we'll see how long it takes to get here.
Excellent. Being an Apple product, it's not cheap or anything, but it's it's nice and it works as expected.
So. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So that's new, and I will be playing with that a lot over the next few days to figure out where my workflow can be improved. There are a couple of other things that were added. You can always check the change log, but Render Studio received a couple of new improvements that I haven't looked at whatsoever. So let's actually give it a go, see what happens. I also got this new computer, the Mac Studio computer here, which has been really nice. The speed, in which I'm able to interact is really good with the interface. But in Render Studio, there are a couple of things to improve things. One thing while we're waiting for this to load up is the improved search capability. Using the search tool in Render Studio is a very powerful thing because there's lots and lots of materials in there.
So my tiny house is made up of hundreds of 2x4s and dozens of pieces of siding, not to mention trim. And going into to create a render studio, to have to select all of those objects off the screen is very time consuming.
Exactly.
But the ability to go over and filter in my tree, to filter by 2x4, for instance, then I can select them all at once and apply the appearance that I want. And so the addition of multiple words, Boolean operators, if, and, that's going to be just enormously more helpful.
Yeah. Here's tile green. So I just did tile space GR, and I remember that would be kind of a hard thing to find before, but now it's showing up. So yeah, I guess that's good.
I like it.
There's some other things behind the scenes, different rendering models that are available, but then the other kind of major thing, I believe, is the, let's see if this works. I'm going to do a quick test before I show the real world here. Let's see. It is Alt-Shift-Click. Let's try that. Command probably on a Mac. I might have to figure that one out. All right, I'm not going to show it.
Were you going to try to move something, Mike?
I was actually trying to move something, right? So right here you have like the ability to move something. Yep. Like I could translate this and, here's the X direction, right? I can say I want to move it over 5 inches, and it's probably way over there now. But
yep. Yeah, that was a nice addition. That was the last release, right?
Exactly. So we did that, and yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to show right now for that. So, number of really good improvements. If anybody has any questions on some of these improvements, feel free to pipe in here, or add a comment. Even if you're watching this after, we'll be monitoring the comments and stuff like we usually do. But
yep. Also, get over to the forums and get involved with the discussion over there. Let everybody know, especially the folks that are behind the scenes putting this work out. Let them know what you think about these releases. Just a simple thank you or a simple I love it goes a long way for the developers, and it keeps them really happy.
Definitely. It's the emotional paycheck.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that is all for the major improvements. For me, I was really excited to see the colors in the interface. That was really good.
Yep. And I'll say it again. I'm always really see those drawing improvements. I still think drawings are going to be with us for a long, long time, and they have to be done. They have to be done right. So
yeah.
Glad to see that. Well, this was a lot of fun. We should do this every single release. What do you think, Mike?
I think so too.
I think that's a great idea. So for you folks that are watching us now, listening to us now, there's another question. Any Apple keyboard or only the Magic Keyboard?
Well, I'm using it's a Magic Keyboard on the iOS. I believe it's Magic Keyboard only. I'm not sure 100%. Just to
there's a couple of different keyboards that Apple offers for iOS.
There is the Folio one that I used to use. I can probably test that. I'm sending it back before the end of the week. I'll probably test it myself just to see. But officially, it was the Magic Keyboard was how it was labeled for us.
All right. Now, there's another question that I don't understand at all from Patrick. Sorry, I'm not a real code
Combined
guy.
states, DDP. Actually, thanks. Thanks, Patrick. Maybe we can look at this offline. This is totally a question that's over my head without thinking about it or asking a couple of my colleagues. Questions about display combined states.
I can
Custom
think
API stuff, it looks like.
I can think about it all day long and not understand what's going on. I would definitely have to ask people. So
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this one for you, Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna forward this to the API team, see what they say, Patrick.
Great.
This is fun.
Yeah, this was a fun.
Yeah.
About 35 minutes, about a normal podcast episode.
I think so. So. We do have a podcast coming up next week or a couple weeks from now, right?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It'll drop Thursday. We had some great guests, great interviews there. Who's on that show?
The last one.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was Frames episode.
Oh yeah. Stay tuned for the Frames episode. That'll be coming up.
Yep. Had our special guest Bruce Bartlett from Down Under.
Exactly.
And a couple of the guys from development, Jake and help me out here.
Yeah, we had Jake and we had
Jake and Joshua.
Josh. Yep, exactly. So they are part of the development team, and they shared a little bit of with us about how the Frames tool came to be, and a little bit about their backgrounds, and then we had a great chat with Bruce Bartlett, who's a long time Onshape person down under, and he's been so nice to share his journey with the community.
Yep, we've got some great episodes coming up too. We're looking forward to interviewing some good people and talking about some great things. So if you get a chance, please subscribe to our podcast and hit that like button for us. And we're just having fun doing this, and I don't see any reason to slow down.
All right. Well, this will be available for everybody else offline. Once we hit the end broadcast button, it will be still there on YouTube for people to find. So thanks again for joining us. It's always fun when we have some fellow users join us on the call, and we'll do this next time.
All right. So long, everybody.
All right. See ya.